This is Gemara Yevamos Daf Kof Hey. All the learning should bring an incredible schos. Shadach v'shalchaim medvayra Tamar Tiba Bas Varacha Shalom Nevizava Ivik Mentali Shem Ben Chaya Plumi Hude Zabas Asima Malka. As well as all the learning should be an incredible schos for Shlema. For Shmuel Yos Ben Yerfei the Chetle Bas Ardina Shmuel Ben Tilan Tavzim Mechlas Cham Bas Yuva Star Pluma Bas Melachai Meshishu Ben Malka V'Shavei Shechana V'Soich Shar Chayli Yisrael. We're holding on the very bottom of Kuf Daladam and base, and we're in the middle of discussing the significance of the spitting of the Yevamos by itself. We know that there's the three-stage process: the removal of the shoe, the spitting, and the recitation of the Parshas Yevamin. But the question is, once she just spits, is that does that do something by itself? And the Gemara said previously that according to Rabbi Akiva, since the splitting is not integral, if you don't do it, the chalitza is still kosher. Therefore, said the Gemara, the spitting cannot come along and forbid this woman from marrying the brothers. It has no legal significance. Says the Gemara, 2 lines on the bottom, Kuf Daladam and base. Does Rabbi Akiva really say Rekika loy pasla, that spitting does not passel her from the brothers? V'atanya, we learned in a brayso, chalza. If she removed the Avam shoe, V'loi, and we turn over to Kovei Amar Aleph, V'loi Rakika, V'loi Kara, she took off the shoe, she did not spit, nor did she recite, or I shouldn't say nor, or she did not recite the requisite psukim, Chalitzasik Sheira. Continues the Bryce, Rakika V'loi Chaltzav, V'loi Kara, Chalitzasik Psula. If she split and did nothing else, it's possible. If she read but did nothing else, you have nothing to be suspectful of. So that is the din in the brisa. So now the question is, what is the opinion? Who is this brisa? Mani, 4 lines down. If you're going to tell me this is the opinion of Rav Eliezer, it can't be. Because what did the brisa say? If you did the removal of the shoe without spitting, without reading the parasha, it's kosher, said the brisa. That can't be Rav Eliezer. Why not? Rav Eliezer, Kacha Yeya says, we said yesterday, like the Megillah, this is how it should be. Davar shu Maisa Ma'akiv. That anything which is a Kacha, the Maisa, is going to be Ma'akiv. And of course, the spitting, says the Gemara, is a Maisa. So that's going to be Ma'akiv. And the Brisa said the spitting itself is enough. And therefore we see, the Brisa itself said, the removal of the shoe is enough. Yes, correct. The removal of the shoe is enough. So clearly it cannot be Rav Eliezer, because he says the spitting also is necessary. Elabshita Rabbi Akiva. Must be this Brisa is Rabbi Akiva. Vikatania, what did the Brisa say? Rakikav leichaltzav leikara. If she just did the spitting, chalitza psula, then the chalitza is going to be pasul. Now what does it mean that the chalitza is going to be pasul? Laman. What do those words mean? It says the Gemara, if you're going to tell me that it means chalitza psula, that she is not allowed to marry everyone else, says Gemara, of course not. Is there ever a scenario that you could have a chalitza without doing other things that allows her to marry everyone else? Of course not. She's not severed completely. That what does the brisa mean when it says that spitting alone is chalitza psula? You know what it must mean, la'achin, that she's forbidden now from marrying the brothers. So shma mina, so what do we see? We see that according to Rabbi Akiva, if the woman just spits, what's the halacha? She's also from marrying the brothers, and that's contrary to what we said yesterday, because yesterday we said, as we started off reminding ourselves today, that according to Rabbi Akiva, because the spitting is not integral, the spitting would not passel to the brothers, and here we see the spitting clearly does, yes, passel to the brothers. Says the Gemara back, Rabbi Akiva. Now, according to Rabbi Akiva, Maishna Rikika, Maishna Kriya. I don't understand, says the Gemara. What's the difference? Why, when you spit, you become spitting? Why, when you spit, you become usher to the brothers? But why, when you read, you do not become usher to the brothers? Says the Gemara. Let me explain you the integral difference. 10 lines down. The first one line is Kriya. Kriya, these are beim mitchila, so beim b'soif. When it comes to the reading, you can read at any point of the chalitza, whether the beginning or the end. Therefore, we're not going to ever confuse just reading by itself with a good chalitza, and therefore there's no concern. Rikika dibetchila lesa lubesaif isa mechvale basila mishi chalutza lachin. So it's a special gezeira, a special din derabbanan that we're afraid they're going to come to permit her to the brothers, and that's why specifically when it comes to the spitting, even Rabbi Kiva is going to have to agree if they just spit, she'll be usher to the brothers. The Igati Amri, another way of learning the aforementioned agent, Yevama Sharakika Tachlitz. This is what they sent him. A Yevama that spit without removing the shoe, Tachlitz. Not that she's puzzled, she has to do Chalitza right now. And she does not need to spit again. Pam acheres. Ki ahid asili kamei deravami. So he came in front of Ravami. Havayos Rav kamei. Rav was sitting there. Rakamak made the tachloitz. And what happened? The Yevama spit. Didn't remove the shoe. Amrli Ravami. Chalutzla. You spit. Now you have to remove the shoe. V'shari la tigra. And finish off her business. So we see the din that we're saying that the spitting is an effective starting of the process, requiring the subsequent removal of the shoe. But Amali Ravabu was sitting there and says, what's going on? Vabi Inan Meirik. But you need to spit. You didn't spit after you removed the shoe. Says Gemara, what do you mean? Harakala, she already spat prior. Says the Gemara, so let her spit again? I don't understand. Why are we saying that the original spitting is enough and now she removes the shoe? Let her spit now. Says the Gemara, says Ravami, Navik Minei Chorba. No, you know why? We don't want her to spit again because we're afraid of a destruction. If you're going to say she has to spit again, Amri, they're going to think Rikika Kamai, so let's be Mashasha. They're going to think the original spitting was nothing. And what's the problem? And they're going to come to allow her to marry the brothers, which is not allowed. Ask the Gemara, 1 second. Vabi in a kisidron. You need the chalitza process to be in order. Removal of the shoe, the spitting, next. Answers the Gemara, kisidron loy ma'akva, an important rule. The order of chalitza is not ma'akev. And the Gemara says, he thought that when they said that the order is not ma'akev, you're just pushing him off, but he doesn't really hold to that. Nafak, you went out, dog, va'ashkach, letanya, bein shektim chalitza, rikika, bein shektim rikika chalitza, masha, also that indeed, the seder, the order, is not ma'akif. Continues the Gemara with a Levi. We're about 10 lines from the medium-sized line. The first word of the line is Masha Asa, also. Levi, Nafak, Likreisa. Levi went out to the village, Ba'minei, Gidma. They asked him the following question: what is the halacha whether an amputee, Yevama that has no hands, can she perform chalitza? The integral part of the chalitza process is the removal of the shoe, but she has no hands. Can she go and untie the shoe with her mouth and then remove the shoe with her mouth? Or another shayla, Yevama sharak kadamahu. For Yevama, when she spits blood. What's the story? And it answers the Gemara, and a third question. It says in the Torah, where is this a pasuk in Daniel? Says the pasuk. However, I'm going to tell you what is inscribed: the biksav or emes, in the writing that is emes, that is truthful. Asks the Gemara a third question that Levi found the villagers asking him when he came to visit. From this pasuk michlal, it sounds like this writing that's not emes. So what is going on over here? So answers the Gemara, Levi did not know the answer to the third question. So also Shalbei Midrasha, they went into the Beis Medrash and Amrulei. They said to him, Levi didn't answer any of the three questions. They went to Beis Medrash and they started answering. Does the Torah say you have to do chalitza, the removal of the shoe with your hand? So it should work even with her mouth. Doesn't say she has to spit spittle. She can spit anything, even blood. Biksav MS, and when the pasuk says, I'll tell you the writing that is MS. So this last question in an answer says the Gemara Loi. Kasha, kan b'ksardin she'eshi ma'ishvua, kan b'ksardin she'eini ma'ishvua. Like a kid, Rav Shmuel bar Rav Ami, Da'amar in the first medium-sized line, Rav Shmuel bar Rav Ami, Rav Yeina's son, minayin l'ksardin she'eshi ma'ishvua, she'einoi miskare'a, that exardin that has a shvu, an oath of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, cannot be torn up, she'nemar, that it's going to be there forever. So all three questions we're answering. Any form of spin is going to work. Any form of shoe removal is going to work. And when the pasuk says Eksav Emes, that means Eksav that has together with it a shvua. Continues the Gemara. We just quoted a pasuk when we wanted to answer the question, what does it mean Eksav Emes? We quoted a pasuk about Beis Eli. So continues the Gemara for a moment, digressing. Amar Rabba. The pasuk says that they're not going to get a kapara through zevach umincha through karban ha'is. Avo miskaperu b'divrei Torah. Such an important lesson. Even when there are times that we can't get a kapara elsewhere, Torah itself is the kapara. That you could be mischaber with kamilas chasadim. Rabba v'abayim the Beis Eli ka'asu. Rabba doesn't give out Torah. Chayvar min shnid. The schos of Torah allowed him to live for 40 years. Abai doesn't give Torah. Oh, b'kamilas chasadim. You did both. Chaya shitin shnid. And he lived for 80 years. Continues the Gemara. There was a family that everyone was dying at age 18. Bobo Dios of Yocham and Zakkai. They came to tell Yocham and Zakkai. Maybe you're from the family of Eli, and that's why you're dying prematurely. So what should you do? And you'll live. And they would call them the family of Yochanan after Rav Yochanan and Zakkai, who saved their lives. Continues the Gemara, Amar Rav Shmuel bar Unya, 6 lines from the bottom, Amar Rav. How do you know Gzardin on the whole public is not sealed? Says Gemara, how could that be? The pasuk says, but the pasuk says, even if you're going to wash it with soap and detergent, your sin has a stain in front of me. So it sounds like that there is a decree even against the tzibur. So explains the Gemara, even if the gzeira, the decree against the tzibur was sealed, it still could be ripped up. Shenemar mi kashem lekin v'chol karini v'lav. V'aksev der Hashem b'yimatzu. Like Hashem b'yachad b'tzibur. That b'tzibur you always can be der Hashem. Yachad emas. So when can a yachad approach Hashem to get his kabara? Amar Rav Nachman Amar Rabua Elu Asara Yamim during Hashanah Yom Kippurim. That is when Hashem is found even for the yachid. Shachal Abu Dishmal Yevamos Raklik Dam. If she spits blood, she should immediately do chalitz. Another reason, not just because the pasuk says spit, says the Gemara, because within the dam there's always a little bit of saliva, a little bit of spittle inside. Meisvei asked the Gemara, I would have thought with regard to a zav that the blood that comes out of his mouth, the blood that comes out of his biyah his makayim erva is tamei tamalemer zoyvoy tamei has to flow. The ein dama yotzvi pevum biyama tamei. So says Elodar. So says the Gemara. We see that the dam obviously does not have a din of spit because the spit of a zav itself is tamei. Answers the Gemara like kasha kan be moitzeses kan sheiseses. If you spit out the blood, then we assume there's a little bit of saliva in there. But if the blood is just dripping out of your mouth, then not necessarily. We continue the Gemara, the last words of this Amud, which quotes the Mishnah that says, Chayresh shenechlash, if a daf miura chayresh either does chalitza, receives chalitza. Similarly, a katana. What was the halacha? The chalitza is psula. So we turn over to Kafei and Beis that the Gemara comments on Rav Yudah Amar Rav Zudivri Rabbi Meir Rav Chama Imri Mei Chalitza. A chalitza has cotton club. The chalitza of a cotton is nothing. Not that it's pasul. Pasul always means that you can't marry the brothers. It's nothing, and you still can do yibum to the brothers. Ketana shel chaltza. If a ketana does chalitza, she has to do it again when she becomes a gedayla. Says the Gemara Amar Rav Yudah Amar Rav Zudivri Rabbi Meir Damar Ish Ksiv Beparsha. U'Ma'akshin Hani So just like the man has to be a gadol, the woman has to be a gadola as well. The Chachamim hold even a ketana is yes allowed to do chalitza. Man Chacham, who's this opinion? Rabbi Yossi, they were sitting at one of them opened his mouth and he said, a lengthy exchange that can eventually prove to us that Rabbi Yossi holds that a ketana could do chalitza. Says the Gemara, one who davens, he has to look downward, which indicates he should be being mechavein towards Eretz Yisrael, towards Yushalayim. Shneimar v'yoleina libi sham kol hayamim. V'chadamar no, einav lamalish look up. Shneimar nasav aveinu l'kabayim. They should raise your eyes, your heart upward. Adahachi, as you were having this discussion, what are you discussing? This is what my father said. A little bit of a in between both opinions. You look down, but your heart should be upwards to heaven. So both psukim have a kiyam. So as they're busy talking, Rebbe comes into the yeshiva. Clearly, anyone who was able, they quickly ran into their seats. But Rabbi Yishmael, Rabbi Yossi, Agav Yokri, Rabbi Yossi was a big guy. And therefore, he was slowly walking to his seat. Amar le Abdon, that's his name. His name was Abdon. Abdon said to him, he said, who is this? Al Rosh Am Kadosh, that walks over the heads of the holy people. What's he doing? Sit down. Amar le Anishal Rabbi Yossi, Shabbat Limo Torah Mered. Rabbi Yossi came to learn Torah for Rabbi. Amar le, he said, who are you? You think you're going to learn Torah from Rabbeinu HaKadosh? From Rabbi, a question that plagues many of us at time to time. Who are you to learn Torah from such a gadol? Amar le, do you think Moshe Rabbeinu was able to learn Torah from Hashem? Amar le, he responded, are you Moshe? Amar le, Rabbi is great, but is he God himself? Obviously not. And the Gemara comments, Amar Rav Yosef Shaklei Rebbe L'Matarse, Rebbe received a punishment because he was quiet when this Talmud was being embarrassed. The Amar Le Rabach Rabbi, that he was called, he said, your master, he didn't say my master. Continues the story, so after the whole lengthy exchange, we discussed about davening, because that was the beginning of the story. We discussed about this large guy that wasn't sitting down, and the ensuing punishment as Rabbi walked into Shir. And now, what happened? In the meantime, as Rabbi, I guess, is about to start Shir, a Yevamo walks in, Gishmak the Rabbi, Amar Le Rabbi, La'abdon. He said to Amar Le Rabbi, La'abdon, Rabbi said to this person, Abdon, Poik Badka, go and check and see if she's a Gedayla or a Kedana. Labasa Tenafik, Amarli Rabbi Shmuel, Kacham Rabba, Ishkasub Barshav, Isha Beng Dolmeng Gedana. Rabbi Shmuel says, why are you ascertaining if she's a Gedayla? Who cares? Only by the man are we makbid. But by the woman, either way works. Says the Gemara, Amar Le, Rabbi said, Taloi Sriches, come, Loi Srichta, you don't have to look. Why? Kvar Hayra Zakein, because the Zakein, Rabbi Yossi already ruled that you even allowed to do it with a Kitana. How do we know it's Rabbi Yossi? Says the Gemara, Kamefasa Abdam Va'asi, so Abdam was slowly coming back to his seat. Amar Le, Rabbi Yossi, Misha Zarch Le Am Kadosh, Yifsa Al Roshi Am Kadosh. Said Rav Yossi, if you're needed by the people, you can step over the people. So Amar Le, so Abdon responded, Amar Le, Rabbi L'Abdon, Kom bedochtach, go, stay in your place, sit down, don't go back to your regular seat, sit where you are. And now says the Gemara concluding this story, Ta'anei ba'isa shah. At that moment, they learned that what? In Itztara, Abdon. Abdon had Saras. V'tav u'shnei banav. And his two sons drowned. Uman u'shnei kalasov. And his two daughter-in-laws didn't miyun. Amar Rav Nachman. Bar Yitzchak, the first white line. Berich Rachmana de Kasvi la'advan. Baruch Hashem, Ushim the Abdon, where? B'hayama. Baruch Hashem, Abdon did something incorrectly, but Baruch Hashem, he got his punishment in this world. I didn't have to lose his Eilam Haba. So, Amar Rav Ami, Dvar Shabel, Rabbi Nilmar, what do we learn out of this whole lengthy story? Kitana, Chayletzes, Bipautais, Kitana, is allowed to perform chalitza once she's at the age of a pu'uta, which is the age that a young girl is able to buy and sell. Rav Amar Ashetigia lo'inas nedarim, till he reaches the age of nedarim, which is a year before becoming a gedela, age 11. Like Rav Meir, not like Rav Yosi, we paskening like Rav Meir that the ketana herself has to be a gedela. And we're just going to learn a few more lines over here. Chalta bishnai. The Mishnah said that it did chalitz before two judges. The chalitz is not good. But Rav Shmuel, Rav Shimon, and Rav Yochanan Sandler said that it is good. Says the Gemara. Amar Rav Yosi bar Menumim Rav Nachman in halacha koisa zuk. We don't ask in that way, but rather we need 3 dayanim to do chalitza. 3 people, I should say. Ask the Gemara. Amar Rav Nachman chad zimno dam Rav Yosi bar Menumim Rav Nachman chalitza b'shleisha tzrichi. Chalitza b'shleisha, excuse me. He taught us this din, so why do you have to tell us the din 2 times that you need 3? Explains the Gemara. I would have thought b'diavad 2 works. As we saw the other opinion. That is why we need both rices to teach us. The paskening, the halacha is like 3. Even b'diavad will not work if it's 3, and we don't need 5. We'll pick it up from the next Gemara and the next year.